Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the 1001 Movies podcast. This time I'll be talking about the 1990 film Europa Europa, directed by Agnieszka Holland. Europa Europa stands out on our list so far as the only film directed by a woman. Born in Poland, Agnieszka Holland made 2 films before moving to France. Her films have more political themes and feminist, and Europa Europa is certainly no exception to that. Holland had worked primarily in television and documentaries before making the film, which explains much of its objective viewpoints of the forces at odds with each other during the Holocaust. Entitled Hitler Jungen Solomon in Germany, which translates as Hitler Boy Solomon, the film is based on the autobiography of Solomon Perel, which was published the year before the film's release. The story seems to have been made for the big screen. Solomon is a young Jewish boy living in Germany just as World War II is beginning. His family flees to Poland, and he's inevitably separated from them before the German invasion. Solomon finds himself in a Stalinist youth camp for a couple years, where he's trained to renounce his Jewish faith because religion, after all, is the opiate of the masses. When the camp is bombed by Germans, Solomon finds himself hired as a Russian translator for the German army, which culminates in him being sent to a Nazi youth camp. The war dwindles to an end near the conclusion of the film, with Solomon being reunited with his older brother. Now, Europa Europa sounds like standard Holocaust drama fare, but it refuses to focus on the atrocities committed by the Nazis, and Solomon seems more like an objective observer as he makes the transformation from a Jew to a Pole to a Stalinist to a Nazi. Of course, Solomon never really actually buys into the rhetoric that he's taught by the Stalinists and the Nazis, and the film concludes with a somber appearance by the real-life Solomon Perel praying in Hebrew. The only physical characteristic that makes Solomon different from his Aryan peers is his circumcision, which results in some mildly amusing situations. He finds himself falling in love with a fiercely pro-Hitler girl, but his physical condition prevents himself from consummating their relationship. Earlier in the film, he is observed bathing by a fellow German soldier who discovers his secret, but promises Solomon not to tell anyone because he's different from other Germans. The implication here, which is never explicitly explained to us, is that the soldier is gay. As a Jew and a homosexual, the 2 men share a secret platonic bond while serving in the German army. These are the 2 strongest non-familial relationships Solomon takes part in, and when they both end in tragedy, they are the film's strongest emotional points. Particularly striking is the performance of Marco Hofschneider as Solomon. His boyish good looks, coupled with his detached innocence as he's surrounded by people who would murder him on the spot if they knew his true identity, is probably the most memorable thing about the film. This is Hofschneider's most popular role, and he does continue acting to this day, although primarily in short German films. His brother René, by the way, played his brother Isaac in this film. With a wide array of locations, the film was produced partly in Poland, partly in France, and partly in Germany. While it was a critical success elsewhere in the world, it was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay, Germany seemed to be embarrassed by it, with German critics giving it lackluster praise. They refused, or maybe they just didn't even bother, to submit the film to the Academy as a nominee for the Best Foreign Language Film in 1991. Perhaps this is because of the portrayal of Nazi cruelty, which Germans seem to sometimes try to forget, although the violence in the film is tame compared to, say, Schindler's List. What did I think of it? Going in, I have to admit I was expecting another tragic Holocaust story, and I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't. However, it seemed to me that Solomon was less of a hero and more of a fortunate onlooker. Several times his life is saved not by his ingenuity, but by sheer luck. I understand that some of this was embellished when converting the story from a novel to a movie, but Solomon Perel came across more as an intelligent Forrest Gump than a youth using his cunning wits to become a chameleon. That said, it actually was better for me in the second viewing, and there are subtle moments, such as Solomon's drawing a Star of David in the frosty glass of a window, that are genuinely touching, partly thanks to Hofschneider's excellent acting. Now that's pretty much all I have to say about Europa Europa. Tune in next time when I talk about the 1987 film Au revoir les enfants, directed by Louis Malle.